Hey everyone, thanks for watching Relocate with Beth. I'm Beth, and today in this video, we're going to discuss purchasing real estate in Panama. Every time I come out with a new video, it's usually inspired by questions that I'm getting repeatedly over email. So it seems like there's quite a bit of interest of people looking to come to Panama, and I'm getting lots of emails on what the purchase process looks like. So I'm going to cover it in this video. I try to make my videos as short and concise as possible because if you're anything like me, you have a short attention span and you get bored really easily. This is a little bit of a detailed topic, so I'm going to do my best to not bore you. If it is feeling a little long and drawn out, take a break, push pause, grab a coffee or a cocktail, and come back. All right, so before we get into the actual process and the steps, I just want to make a quick comment that agent or not no agent, that seems to be a very popular question on Facebook groups. Now, if you're anything like most, you probably have joined Panama Facebook groups. There's expats in Coronado, expats in Panama, young expats, expats in Boquete. There's lots of different groups. And what I've learned over the 7+ years that I've been here is everyone that has relocated and maybe has purchased seems to be an expert, or so they think. However, it's mostly based off of opinions of their personal experience through their location, with their attorney, with their real estate agent, or purchasing on their own. So I would just say take everything lightly. Again, it is important to rely on a professional, such as myself, someone who knows the industry, who has studied the law, as I've done many sales and many transactions, and no two are alike. So one person who has done one thing one time does not make them an expert. Now, I will always defend my profession, of course. And maybe the situation that arises for you, or maybe an opportunity, doesn't require a real estate agent, and that's amazing. But typically, I would always recommend that you have two very important individuals in your transaction. One is a real estate agent, and the other would be an attorney. They're very, very vital to the whole purchase process. And that is because there are different types of property, and not all property in Panama is titled. So you need to understand very clearly what it is that you're buying. You can have either titled property or what we call ROPs, which is rights of possession. So titled real estate is the safest and most common type of transaction here. Obviously, the deed is registered in the Panama Public Registry under your name or under the name of the entity of which you used to purchase with, which could be maybe a private interest foundation or a corporation, which that's common here in Panama. It's also a lot easier to obtain financing from lenders if you can prove that it is a titled property. Side note there on financing, I get a lot of those questions too. Financing is very, very difficult and nearly impossible for foreigners to obtain in Panama if you are newly relocated here. In some cases, I have done deals where the foreigner was able to obtain financing, but always they had a bank account, they were working in Panama, they had been here for a variety of years, so they had established credit. However, we are starting to see more private lenders emerge on the Panama real estate market. So who knows, maybe in the near future, there's going to be a lot more of that option for foreigners to come in to obtain private lending. The process to purchasing titled property is the following. Step 1, we have the negotiation phase, right? This is going to look the same probably all over the world. It's basically just a buyer, a seller, and their agents, if they have them, or maybe sometimes there's just one intermediary agent. It's all parties coming to agreement on the price and the terms of the sale. Once those terms and conditions have been agreed upon, then we will move on to step 2. So step 2 is typically reservation fee. A reservation fee, which is normally about $5,000, is placed in order for the buyer's attorney to do their due diligence on the property to ensure that the owner is who he says he is, that the title's free and clear, that there's no liens, that everything is just in good condition to move forward. Now, that reservation fee is refundable in the event that your attorney, the buyer's attorney, realized, okay, something's sketchy, red flags everywhere, we're gonna pull out. Then the reservation fee will be refunded. If not, everything comes free and clear, both parties are happy to move forward. The next step, which would be step 3, is the promise to purchase and the down payment. So the promise to purchase is basically, it's a legal formal contract where everything that was outlined in the offer letter, all of the initial terms and agreements is basically outlined in the promise to purchase. And a down payment is made. So once both parties agree, they review the promise to purchase and they're ready to move forward with signing, then they put down their down payment. So down payment typically for Panamanians is about 10% and for foreigners 20%. Again, every deal is different, that can go up or down. It just all depends on the initial terms that were agreed upon in the negotiation phase. So the following step would be step 4, which is closing. Obviously, a closing date is agreed upon. If it's a cash purchase, typically it's 30 days from the signing of the promise to purchase. Sometimes can be sooner, some can be longer. So the reservation fee is put towards the down payment. The down payment is then, obviously, that amount is subtracted from the total sales price. And at the very end, at closing, usually you go to a notary with the buy-sell agreement, and all paperwork is taken to the public registry to be filed for the transfer of the deed, and at that time the final payment is made. So rights of possession. Panama's government owns quite a bit of land, and they give people the rights to possess that land. So it's not titled, it's not in the public registry, it's just a document called an ROP that states that the government agrees to allow you to possess the land, and under what terms. Property taxes are exempt for ROPs because they're owned by the government. So that is a benefit. However, if depending on the terms, and in some cases if you're gonna erect structures, then you will have to pay property taxes on the improvements. 100% if you are a foreigner, you want, and even if you're Panamanian, you want an attorney involved and an agent. An agent especially that knows a lot about land and is familiar with ROPs. There's a lot of due diligence that has to be done. This includes finding either the government entity or the municipal who granted the rights of possession and confirming with them that you do have the right to possess, the boundaries of the land, the true location of the land, the terms, just knowing a very precise and full picture of what is going on. A survey. You need to send a land surveyor and make sure that the boundaries are exactly what are written in the rights of possession agreement. An inspection. You also need, if you're purchasing the ROP for land development or farming or agriculture or whatever it may be, you need to make sure that you have the proper permits or that you can get the proper permits in order to not prevent you from, being able to actually fulfill your vision and develop the business that you're trying to. There is a buy-sell agreement, just like with title. The only difference is, like I mentioned, it isn't registered in the public registry. It's typically just notarized. Once the buy-sell contract is signed by all parties, then it's transferred to the buyer in the certification of possession rights. Panama also has concession property. Concession property is not titled either. So that would typically be like national parks, islands, coastal areas. Now the concessions are standard or typically at 20 years, renewable, but sometimes you can have a concession issued up to 40 years. Someone purchasing concession property is not very common. In the event that kind of touches on your interest, an attorney can help you with all of those details. I hope that this was clear and informative and educational. I love to hear from you guys. All of my contact details are in the description below. If you need a buyer consultation or just generic questions about Panama, remember, between my two companies, Try Panama and Pacific Relocation Tours, we're your one-stop shop. We can help you with any and all of your relocation and real estate needs. And again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of my new and informative videos. And until next time, take care. Thanks for watching Relocate with Beth.